Good morning, everybody. Are we ready? It is about time to kick off the PrintAQuest Kickstarter. I am both ready and nervous for this, but let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump over to my computer screen. What do we got going on here? There we go. And I believe everything's ready to go. Thanks for thinking of launching with us. Yep, here we go. I think that's the button. If you reach your funding goal, yeah, it's all or nothing. Launch project. And there we go. Now everybody can go and check out PrintAQuest at the link in the description. So we are currently live now. And I figure I would take a couple of minutes in this stream today and just kind of go over the Kickstarter. How do I close down this little sidebar? Like that. Fantastic. Now it looks like what you guys see. Do you want to watch the video together? You guys can watch the video. You know what? We're gonna put the video on. Here we go. So this, of course, was this sequence that we're watching right now. I'm considering running ads during this campaign, and so I made this to be like a Facebook ad. So it's 1 minute long. There's no talking. Of course, I'm talking over it, but you guys can watch it for yourself. You're not here to watch these videos. You can go watch these videos yourself. But this is just this picture here. Not this one. This one. Don't look too closely at the pixels. There's lots of parts of that picture that are terrible. I love this little effect that I did there. It took just a couple of minutes in DaVinci Resolve to learn how to do that. And now I know how to do that. Now pay attention to this ending here because you're going to see
it again. The best game ever. And anybody who says differently might have a strong argument, but hyperbole wins Kickstarter. So, best game ever. The best thing about PrintAQuest are these terrain tiles and these minis, because I know that most of the people who are looking at this campaign don't care at all for the rules that I've written that allow for DM-less gameplay with these. Nor do they care for the deep story or quests that I've created to guide you through the playing of PrintAQuest. No, sir. You want to use these to play your own.
You might notice my hair and tie is different in this shot because this was shot in a different day.
And rest assured that these terrain and minis are being created by an award-winning 3D designer with over a decade
Thank you, Nolan Create. Thank you, Ken, for popping in the chat.
Off the build plate, ready to go because they don't need support in order to work.
This is surprisingly the only stop-motion footage I've caught so far. I should catch more of it.
What's that you say? You actually are interested in these rules?
Well, then, little transition turn.
The best thing about PrintAQuest is this dice. And you might look at this dice and think, that's
I meant to cover up those pictures in the background. I mean, I like those pictures. Those are pictures that we have hanging on our wall all the time, but I wanted them to be more related. And I did do that with the ones that are lower.
It's a print-a-block dice.
Sorry, I'm talking over myself.
Look at the modularity. If you're playing a game and you're thinking, you know, these games are just taking too long, well, then give the heroes an extra chance to hit. Or if you think you've started to get the idea of the way the game works, why don't you give the monsters an extra chance to hit? Or if when you finally think that you have mastered the game for good, you could play the 5 Faces of Death.
5 Faces of Death.
I do not recommend playing the 5 Faces of Death. Well, I could keep going, but I don't want to run the gag too thin. I think you've got the idea, and if PrintAQuest sounds good to you, I hope that you'll check out the campaign and support it. And as an added incentive, remember that backers get a voice in what will be added next to PrintAQuest. So if you want to decide what's going to be the next terrain or what's going to be the next minis that we add, then support today and get a voice in what will happen next. But I want to thank you very much for checking out my campaign, and I want to remind you that you are a child of a loving Heavenly Father. You're special to me, so take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else too, because we all need each other. You know what? One more. The best thing about PrintAQuest is the Mimic.
The Mimic. I considered leaving out my usual tagline about being a child of a loving Heavenly Father. Notice, same ending, because I planned on putting this ending on both of the videos, but then I took both of the videos and I put them together for this video. So it got this ending twice, but oh well, it's not too bad. It's a good ending. I considered leaving that out.
Nor do they care about the...
Oh, that's right, the outtake.
Wait, I didn't change my tie. Dang it.
I kind of left that outtake there to tell people, go back and rewatch it because I have different ties in every shot. I changed my tie as often as I could in that one. Like I said, I even used one shot from a previous day, from a previous take. So I had a slight change in there, and you can see the hair. But I really wrestled with whether or not I wanted to end this video the way that I end most of my videos. That is to say that you're a child of a loving Heavenly Father. And I thought, does that really belong in a campaign like this? But then I thought, if I'm ashamed to put it in this, then this campaign doesn't deserve to be successful. You know what I'm saying? I am hoping for a miracle in this campaign. I'm hoping that it blows away all previous campaigns that I've done, that it is the most successful, because I truly believe that this idea has really got some legs to it. And I've been praying for it to be good. And so would it be fair for me to go, oh, I need to leave that part out? No. God is very much a part of the success of this campaign. So I had to leave it in there. And guess what, everybody? We have already met our goal, which is not a surprise. The goal was only $100, as it is with all of them, because it's digital rewards. I don't need to pay for tooling. I don't need to pay for, and thank you, OGMS Tech, for saying that you like that I say that in my videos. I appreciate that. I've had many people tell me that they appreciate me saying that, even though some of them who say it point out, I don't believe in any of that stuff, but I really appreciate that you are saying it, because they recognize it for what it is, that it's trying to put something good into the world. And that's really all it is, honestly. So I'm glad that people like it. But we've already reached our goal, so congratulations, we're funded, which means first stretch goal complete. So let's go take a look at that. Let's jump down to the story. So PrintAQuest. I don't know if any of you have actually taken a chance to read this, but I've got a little description of PrintAQuest here and a little picture of the board. I have the board right here. Here we go. So there we go. There's PrintAQuest. I like to call this dioramas of adventure, because that's kind of what it is. It's grab a couple of guys that fell down, but these boards are just fun little things to build and interact with and see. They look great, as well as you can play on them. You can actually play on them, and that's pretty darn cool. Let's see. For those who didn't recognize, the video was kind of a riff on, there's a video called Hero Quest is the best game ever. And if you haven't watched that video, you should absolutely watch that video. I considered doing the voice, or trying to do the voice, but I am not Bartik Broadcast, and I don't have the voice. And so it ended up sounding cringe. And so I was like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do my voice instead. And I also didn't. I could have kept going before the Kickstarter came out. I had a long list of reasons why PrintAQuest was the best game ever, or all the good things about PrintAQuest, and I condensed it way down for this video because I didn't want to belabor the gag. But I'd put a little bit of it in here. The best thing about PrintAQuest is the minis, the board, the counters, the dice, the rules, the quest, and perhaps most importantly, the factory, which I actually didn't mention in the video, or more accurately, the lack of any factory. Your home 3D printer is all you need. Now, I want to point out, notice how I'm bolding certain things as we go here. I'm using the bold text to highlight certain text. That is 100% the fault of... Hold on for a second. Oh, man. The fact that I just blanked on his name is the most shameful thing ever for me. When I say his name, he probably already knows what I'm talking about. Josh. Oh, why did I blank on Josh? Josh, who he does the Recreator project, and he's like, dude, you got to put like bold into your comic text, because I was doing a comic a little while ago that I am going to get back to after this Kickstarter, and so I was like, I'm gonna do a bit of that in here, and I'm going to use bold to highlight certain words to draw your eyes as you're reading. I still got the feeling of the best thing about HeroQuest. Thank you, Tremaine. I really was. Like I say, PrintAQuest is in some ways, well, it's definitely inspired by HeroQuest, but I rewrote the rules to be a lot more, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Completely blanked. Oh, DM lists, so that you don't need to have, so that you can have a lot fewer players, so that you can have. I basically wanted to make HeroQuest light with PrintAQuest. Now, I mentioned in the last video that there's like 3 audiences of people that I'm trying to satisfy with this, and one of them I've already satisfied. You guys, the first line backers, the people who jumped in, people who are probably watching right now. You are not backing this, probably, because you believe in this project. You are backing this because you believe in me. And I really, really appreciate that. But I know that you guys would support me no matter what I was doing. And so, check, done, but thank you guys very much for being who you are. Then there's the people who want to play D&D with these and use these to play minis. So I have to make it so that the minis and things that I create for it are, you know, non-denominational as far as which game they're supporting. But then I also wanted to make a game that people who like the idea of D&D but aren't necessarily into D&D can play, because it's simpler, it's easier, and it's just a lot of fun. And at the same time, there's a story, there's a lore, there's a lot going on with it. So, and thank you, Nolan Crate, for agreeing on that. And so, trying to satisfy those 3 groups of people, basically, I'm developing PrintAQuest. If it weren't for developing it to be just D&D minis, I might have gone a little bit different with some of the character designs, gone a little bit more whimsical and silly. Excuse me. And even then, I still put some whimsy into the characters, but I still plan on, okay, so Ken says, yes, supporting you, but I plan on having fun with it and maybe getting my grandson involved if he's interested. His parents D&D, but he's only 6 at the moment. I think that this would be great to put, well, this would be playable with a 6-year-old. There's a strategy element. PrintAQuest is very much a strategic game, but it's also a game that tells a story, and it's also a game that, it's easy. It's an easy game, no question about it. All right. So here I explain PrintAQuest is a system. Let's just skip down. This is more about what it is and the idea behind it. You guys, either you get it or you'll get it later. But let's talk about what y'all are getting for rewards. So rewards and stretch goals. We have hit the funded goal, which means we are already starting with 76 3D print files and 3 PDFs that will be delivered upon completion. This includes all of these stone terrain tiles. That's the one that you see me using here, which includes stone floors and stone walls, as well as doors. And we got walls of different sizes, and we have corners, and we have edges, and we have all kinds of things. But then there's also added in there a blank set. This set doesn't have any super distinguishing features. They're made to be as small as possible, as thin as possible. So yeah. So there's the blank ones double the initial count, perhaps artificially inflating it. But I mean, you get them anyway, so it's part of the count, so there we go. But then there's also the game minis, the game chits, the game bits and bobs and things like that. There's the monsters, there's the treasure chest. I love this little hinged treasure chest. This I mean, it's tiny. It's 16 millimeter because it's PrintAQuest size, but you can open it up, and this particular one is one of our mimics. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so good. Now, when we hit $500, and let's see how close we are to this one. We are very close. We will probably hit it before the end of stream. Work will begin on a new hero mini. I want there to be at least 4 hero minis in the initial offering. And let's go real fast too. I need to pull up. No, that's Sheets. That's Docs. Where's Google Forms? Do I not have it up here? I may not have it up here. So let me. Whatever. You guys get to see behind the scenes a little bit because I'm too lazy to switch over my screen. Okay, so let's take a look at the responses that people have. You all have suggested 4 future heroes, which are what we're going to be voting on. A mechanical automaton. Absolutely want to do that. I think it would be fun from a gameplay perspective if the mechanical automaton had fewer moves than any other player, making it difficult. They're slow and lumbering, and they get very few attacks, but when they hit for 2 instead of 1. So if you don't get out of the way of the slow lumbering robot, he done knock you out. So I think that's pretty good. A rogue. Cool. With all of these characters, I want to do something cool with them. The whole idea behind the design of PrintAQuest is rule of cool. If it's cool, I'm doing it. So what can I do with a rogue to make a rogue just like 10% cooler? I don't know. A female elf druid, and would love to see what you come up with. Her name is Yigni. Now, one thing in the world of PrintAQuest is that all elves are Asian, or Asians became elves. I don't know. I've got that going on there. Actually, I just remembered something about the... let me talk about something that I just remembered after I read a couple of comments. Orson Jones says, good morning, Orson. How you doing? Nolan Crate says, the way you presented it, I feel PrintAQuest will be a repeatable gateway for a more intense rules skirmish games. I hope so. That's kind of the goal. All right. As I was sitting here thinking about this female elf, the story that I am injecting into PrintAQuest is a story that I have been writing since college and possibly before. Unfortunately, I left my sketchbook. Well, hold on for a second. I might have a sketchbook here. Does this have any sketches for this? No, this one was purely... I mean, I'm doing stuff with that sketchbook, but nothing to do with this. But this one here, this sketchbook here, I have been drawing in since I was in college and possibly before it. And I've been drawing these characters and whatnot that I want to and plan to integrate into the story. Here is a mechanical automaton as ordered. This was drawn by me back in... I did not sign it, but I'm guessing this was early or late 2000s. No, early 2000s. Let's see what else we got here. No, that's a different story. I didn't even finish that sketch, and I don't think I will. I think that character has been scrapped. I've got other sketches for a space game that I want to do. Lots of space game. Good grief, so much of space game in here. That is a story that I will never write. This one. Here's a bad guy enemy automaton that I drew up. I think that one's super cool, and I would love to incorporate that into the game. Here is a suit of armor with a face on the chest. I have no idea any context for it. I drew that up, and that was that. So yes, I have been... this story has been percolating in my mind in some form or another. Since I was drawing this sort of thing. It's a female centaur, clad in nothing but a bow. Actually, she's clad in a quiver. And yes, my elf character. Okay, so I got to go way back to talk about my elf character, the elf character that I had in here. And I'm just filling time right now. Let's go back and take a look at the... No, I'm delaying talking about it. So, I played this game. It was on DOS. Automaton with a spring-loaded fist that would be hard to print, but it would look awesome. Like, it doesn't, like, at that scale, it's not going to be an actual functional spring-loaded fist. I think that would be way cool, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think it would be possible to injection mold a spring-loaded fist at that size. Maybe. But it'd have to be like half of a spring for a pen. Like, pull the pen out and snip that string in half, or spring in half, and even then it might be too big. Still, I'd love that. That would be like firing action. No, I don't want to build that into the rules right now. So when I was a much younger man, I found this game for DOS, and I'm going to reframe the game to explain it a little bit because I don't want to necessarily betray what type of game it was. But in this game, it was a game where you fought by... You got dealt a hand of cards, and each of the cards was either physical attack, magic attack, block. Was there another move, or was that it? I think that might be it. You had the ability to attack physically, the ability to attack with magic. Oh, no, and a disarmor attack. So you had 4 attacks. You can either remove a piece of your enemy's armor, you can hit them physically, you can hit them magically, or you can block. And your character had a certain armor stat. Your character had a certain health stat. And if your armor or health ever reached 0, you were done. That was it. But the cool thing about this game is if you disarmored an enemy, the less armor they wore, the more powerful their magic attack was, which created an interesting element of strategy. Do you wait for your opponent to try to disarmor you and hold on to your magic attacks and then hit them all at once with those magic attacks? Or do you, use the magic attacks in your hand at the time? And I really wanted, for the first iteration of PrintAQuest, except it wasn't called PrintAQuest at the time, it was called The Alchemist's Apprentice, and it was going to be a video game. And I wanted to incorporate that level or that sort of mechanic in this game. Well, the elf character is a character whose magic ramps up a lot the less armored she is. And thank you, Lady Aslot, got her pledge in. The less armored this, and so basically to like up her magic attack, she did a strip tease. I was a young man at the time, okay? I don't think we're going to be doing that with Yinig here. We're definitely not going to be doing that with Yinig, but sorry, just mentioning that, Ginny, you awoke a ancient memory in my head. All right, let's move on. Vampire Hunter, so like a Van Helsing sort of character. Very cool. I like that idea. What else can we do with it? Like, how could we take that and make it just one step cooler, though? That's my question. Fighter, mage, priest, thief. Yep, pretty standard stuff. We absolutely need to have those in there. A wizard. We're going to have the alchemist in there, and he's going to have a staff, but he's good, or she actually is going to be a kid. Magic user, elven archer, elven rogue, brawny barbarian. Yeah, I like that idea. In fact, one of these drawings is, and it's a very sad drawing. There we go. I had this creature from, he was in the circus, and he's insanely buff and big and stuff like that, and his wife was very, very small. And what's funny is I drew this back in 2000, and then 6'1" me ended up marrying a 5-foot-tall woman, so I don't know if I was projecting a little bit there. Bard, Dread Pirate. Oh, I love the idea of a Dread Pirate, man. But again, okay, Dread Pirate, really cool. I'm thinking like Captain Blood or something like that. But I'm wondering how we can make it more cool. Is there, like, can we make him be a different race or creature or something to make him just a little bit cooler. Or, I mean, I like the idea of, have you guys seen Treasure Planet? Of the idea of Long John Silver not being just a dude with a peg leg, but being a dude with a cybernetics. You know, that's kind of like what peg legs are for that. I also would like to do an Amazonian, but like an Amazonian barbarian, but you know, she's black, and to make it a little bit extra cool, she got an afro. She's an Afro barbarian, and I'm down, and I want to do that one. So that's one option in there. So we are at the first stretch goal. So we are at the first stretch goal. We are going to be talking about adding a new hero mini and figuring out what that is going to be. Now at 2,000, we are going to have a boss character, and I'm probably definitely going to add the boss character. But my question is, what can we do to make this boss character interesting? What can we do to make the fight with the boss interesting? I always find fights to be more interesting if they're more than just like pounding on the bad guy. There needs to be something about the fight that takes it up a notch. And I'm playing with the idea of either a gargoyle or a dragon. Now, a dragon is a really easy one to make interesting. You just set the dragon in a place and you give it attacks that just hit area of attack. That way you have to keep your people moving, but then your goal for defeating it is not so much defeating or attacking the monster directly as it is hitting other things around the area and using that to attack the monster. So, yeah. Steam-powered giraffes have some good music inspiration when thinking about a steampunkish pirate. Steam-powered giraffes? Ooh, what if the Dread Pirate were an automaton? Like the Tin Man. Like, oh, I just got a vision of, like, the Tin Man from, okay, I'm going to pull this up real fast. What was his name? L. Frank Baum. Because I want to get the right Tin Man. Why are we Google lensing you? No. This guy, but as a Dread Pirate. Like that level of interesting little automaton. Not a man in a metal suit, but something like that. I think that'd be cool. But, you know, cooler. This dude's goofy. We want to do him like one step cooler. Let's see. Paul, hello. How are you doing, Paul? And GG4G Jason says, hello, I'm a regular D&D player, but I also love board games. This seems like great to play with people who aren't into playing a full D&D session. I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully, Jason, this is also something that could be used for your regular D&D. Now, at 3,000, I want to add this Alchemist Apprentice character, and she will be a character who starts out with no power whatsoever, but as the game progresses, and I mean she'll have some function in the game, but as the game progresses, she gets new powers and abilities, and so essentially she's our legacy character, and the more you play the game, the more powered up she gets, until eventually by the end of the game, she will be, you know, like just incredibly powerful. Roll for stealth, $15. Yes, that is correct. $15 gets you pretty much everything in the campaign. Why? Why is that a question mark, roll for stealth? Why is $15 a question? Alrighty. So, I want to talk about this new theme set of terrain tiles. So, going back, I think you probably could have gotten even more. You are not the only person to say that to me before this. I have lots of people telling me that I'm undercharging. Let me give you two reasons why I'm not undercharging $15 for this. First of all, these are digital. These are not physical rewards, okay? As digital rewards, I'm not paying for tooling. All I'm paying for is my time to make them. Now, if my time is, if I were charging my time to you as an individual, I would probably have to charge you somewhere in the vicinity of like $500-$600 for the time that I spent in this alone. In fact, probably not even that. It'd probably be closer to the realm of $1,000. Okay. So let's go back up to the top. Well, look at that. We're only $400 away from me being paid for my time. So looking at it from the perspective of a commissioned job, y'all are paying my commission at $15 a piece. Plus, $15 is enough of a... it's low enough that it kind of overrides the like, well, should I or shouldn't I? $15? Yeah, of course I should do that. And so I'm hoping to overcome the lower price point in bulk, essentially. Now, that said, if you want to support more, there is the $100 tier. And the $100 tier puts your name in the rule book. There is a story, and I don't just mean like, here are all the backers who supported me, thank you very much. I think I will probably have a list of that, but your name's going to be like that big in there. $100, you will become a character in this world, and whether I name you after one of the characters of the minis or whether you are one of the contributing characters in the story, there are lots of names in this story, and I could just pull up a random D&D name generator and just, florg blibbly blopper or whatever throughout the entire thing, because really, as far as the story goes, these names probably don't matter that much. They could be anything, but I don't want them to be anything. I want them to be you. I want you guys to be a part of this, and so that's what this is. And if I don't get enough backers at that level, I might tap the other levels for it. It says I'm getting 0 backers on all of these levels. It's probably because I need to refresh and it doesn't automatically update that, which is fine. I don't expect it to. So most people are coming in at this, which is fine. That's great. That's what I want. I have this tier here so that this tier seems good. I don't expect anybody to just back at this level and just get the first tier. I think that everybody is in it for the long haul, because the moment that we hit $4,000, essentially you guys are getting 2 for 1. What I want to do after this is I want to continue to make expansions for this. And each of these expansions is going to be new terrain and new monsters and new quests. Well, $4,000 is when we unlock the first of those new terrains and monsters and quests. And I will sell those separately outside of it. And I will probably sell them for about $20 a pop. If we get to this point in the campaign, you guys are getting 2 for 1. And that's fantastic. And if you guys, and look at that, we've already got 3 people who are going to get their names in the book. If you guys would like to see this reach that goal, if you guys would like to get 2 for 1, the best thing that you can do is spread the word. Tell other people about this campaign. Let people know about this, because the more people who back, again, I'm trying to overcome the lower price point with volume. And so I really, if you have supported this campaign and you are on a message board here's the thing. I am going to play with paid advertising in here, and hopefully that will bring in some more people. But the best advertising, I think, comes from word of mouth. You on a message board of people who are in the same space that you are in, people who are doing cool stuff like you are doing, those people who you have already built up trust with. I cannot go to them and say, hey guys, come check out my campaign, because one, a lot of those message boards don't allow for self-promotion, which is fine. I mean, like, fair. I don't want people just flying in and spamming their thing and flying out and having no value on my own boards and stuff like that, okay? I want people to be adding value to the boards and self-promoting themselves. I don't mind self-promotion, but just add some value. And I don't have time to add value to all of those boards. You know where those things are. You've already built up the trust. So I'm asking you to share people and let people know about this campaign. And hopefully the more people who back it, the more you guys get. Because like I say, once we hit 4,000, we are at 2 for 1. And if the campaign actually makes it up to 8,000, we are at 3 for 1. I love the idea of giving you guys a 3-fer. I think that would be fantastic. Now the other thing is, I am playing at 75,000, and I'm already looking into this. But the idea of taking that first tier and packaging it up as a physical reward, I am already thinking about this possibility. And ideally, I would find a third-party manufacturer with a bunch of 3D printers, and they would print it out and send it to you, and they'd get a cut, and I'd get a cut, and they'd probably get more of a cut than I do. But again, making up in volume. But this will be locally manufactured and sent out. The problem is I'm having a hard time finding a company that will do quality. So I did send it out to one company, and I will be making a video about this in just a little while, a video that I suspect will do okay, because I am going to be publicly shaming another company, which is not my intent. But this is, I don't know if it's coming through very well. This is the quality that they sent back. Hold on for a second. Let's go to the fourth wall view right here. Hello. Okay, you can see over my shoulder right here, this is the quality that I produced of this dude. This is the quality that they produced. Okay? It's not impressive. Okay, it basically looks like a stack of crepes vaguely cut into the shape of that dude. Like, it's not good. If it's honestly, it's surprisingly bad. Like an Ender 3 would do a better job than this. These models are designed to be printed with FFF 3D printing, and they popped in and gave me a note and said, this sort of thing doesn't work with FFF 3D printing. Bull hucky. I know that they do work. I have made them. This is the thing. Whoop. Don't use the green dude for an example, Joe. Okay, this is the thing. I know that I can give you prints that on your regular home 3D printer will be detailed and, that will look really, really good. I designed for home 3D printing. I have for a decade. I know how to make these models that will work on your home 3D printer. Now, if you do them in resin, they look even better. So if you've got a resin printer, that's great. I would not necessarily suggest printing the terrain in resin, but you could. The connectors, they work in resin, but they're much better printed. Maybe you know what I should do is I should just set up to print a bunch of PETG connectors and then offer to put those on my Etsy store and be like 100 or 1,000 PETG connectors for, whatever, $20 or whatever. Yeah, that print looks really, really bad. So let's see. Lady Assalot says that is awful. My crappy old 3D printer could do better. Honestly, there was a $100 Kickstarter 3D printer that I reviewed a little while ago, and that was the quality that I would expect from it. I did not expect this quality from a professional 3D printing service. But the problem is they've tooled themselves to work for bigger prints. And again, I'm not shaming them in this, or I'm not naming them in this video, but I will name them in a later video that will be coming out soon. The way more intricate in this possibility, but old 3D Hubs way community printers, just a thought, is the Mini in the Photo Vapor Smooth. Actually, yes. This was printed in ABS in the 4-color process and Vapor Smooth. So he might have a little bit of a boost to make him look a little bit better. I did that mostly to see if I could. All right, looks worse than what I print with my i3 Mega. Yeah, no, it's again, they're tooled to print large and print fast. They are not tooled to print small and print detailed. And I don't know if they want to retool or provide small detail possibilities. I'm concerned that their mentality is going to be, we can make more money doing the big prints than doing the small print, than retooling for doing the small prints anyway. So I'm concerned that even after I make the video and let the world know what I've got from them, that their response will be, yeah, that's not our market. And that's fair. If that's not your market, that's fair. I'm not going to try and get you into that market. I really wish that I could have worked with them because they have a great API and it integrates with Etsy and all that stuff. I think that they were in a position to do great things. But unfortunately, they're not tooled for me. Let's see. Native says, look at some of the SteamWorld 2. I do not know what that means, but I shall Google it and find out. Thank you very much, Native. All right, let's go back to the campaign real fast. So, yeah, I basically said. So I'm playing with the idea of making physical rewards. I am guessing, though. So in addition to thinking about the rewards themselves, I'm thinking about the whole package, including the packaging. Okay, and you guys may recognize, but this is just an old filament box, and I want to make everything to fit inside a filament box. So I have to consider how much you have to manufacture, and if it can fit inside a filament box. I think it can, but I'm kind of limiting. So it all ties into each other. Yeah, Dallas Prince says that's not our market would be fair, but then they need to be upfront about what their market is. I mean, I think that a 3D printing professor video with their name on it will help set people's expectation. That's half of what I do on my channel, is I help set people's expectations. I feel like it's one of the unwritten goals of my missions of my channel. So as I'm building, and let's talk about, again, you guys are going to get a behind the scenes look here. Here we go. Don't stare too closely. So I am writing up some rules booklets for gameplay, for DM-less gameplay. And then I'm also writing up the quest book. Now, the quest is where the story goes in. And of course, you could use these to print or to build any adventure that you want. But I am essentially creating, and I'm going to redo these. I'm starting over with these. I've come up with new quests that I'm going to do. But the idea is that when you are done here, the biggest of these quests will break down and all of it will fit in a filament box. And then the rest of it, all of these previous quests, will be more or less limited to the pieces that were used to build this one. Now, because it's so modular, there's still lots and lots of possibilities that we can do with these, and I'm playing with those possibilities as I'm designing these quests. Now, part of the problem is that I am, from a game design perspective, putting the cart before the horse. I am working on the minis, I am working on the characters, and I'm working on the maps before testing them. The proper way to do this is you pull out paper and you do paper prototypes and you test them, which I did do to prove that the rules will work as written. But there's a lot of balancing that goes into a game like this. And I am not doing that balancing. You know, theoretically, you should balance it before you make the minis. I proved the minimum viable product before moving forward with the minis, because it's really the minis and the terrain that sells it. And quite frankly, I'm not going to be coy about this. I am having to sell it. Okay. And during the campaign, I hope to work on more. I'm hoping to refine these rules a little bit before we get to that point. So I have to design from the top down with the quests. I have to design the biggest quest first, and then see if it fits in a print box with everything necessary so that it all fits in one box, and then design the rest of the quests to work with that. So I am already thinking about the physical rewards possibility. But by thinking about those physical rewards possibilities, I am creating a project for you that will be easily reproducible. By a lot of times, and I have a video coming about this real soon. I've been playing with other 3D printed games. A lot of times, these 3D printed games, they don't think about where are people going to keep the rules? How's it going to look on the shelf? They don't think about these things. They just produce the minimum viable product and throw it out there. And a lot of these games are out there for free. So I can't be like, oh, there's something terribly wrong with you. No, they're producing something free. Be grateful. And if you go, man, I really need a way to put this on my shelf, cool. Make it and add it and put it as a remix. We all build each other in this way, in cool ways. All right. We've gone over the entire campaign. And the campaign is currently sitting at $700. Guys, it's not even been... I started this stream at 8:30, and we've already blown past the first stretch goal, and we are within kissing distance of the second stretch goal. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing, and I don't deserve you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to share something with you real fast. An idea that I had for PrintAQuest. The way this game is made is that the individual quests can have, within the gameplay of them, different game elements, different game, how do I put this? Different gameplay styles. Each one of the quests has the possibility of being more than just walk in, beat bad guys, and walk out. In fact, I have one here. Let me pull up the map for this. So these are the... All right. Are we gonna... Good. Here we go. So this is the new first quest, and it's gonna have a couple of monsters in here that you beat up. It's just like, here's how you do movement and fighting. First quest, super simple. Second quest adds a little bit more complexity. With this second quest, we have multiple rooms, and I am playing right now, and I've done the prototype, the minimum viable test on this one, and it does work. The idea being, when you open up a door, if the room is empty, you roll a dice and populate the room based on the dice roll. And so the goal of this map is going to be to open up both of these rooms, clear out the monsters that are in them, and leave. Now, if you get good dice rolls, you'll get easy monster fights. But if you get bad dice rolls, you'll get difficult monster fights. And so that's the idea here. Let's see. So real simple. 2 rooms, no problem. This map is a lot of fun. Remember, there's an option to pledge more, give them a bonus. Thank you, Roll for Stealth. Yeah, if you are like Roll for Stealth and are convinced that I am not charging enough, by all means, feel free to pay me extra. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. You can absolutely go into your pledge and you can up it to whatever you think this is worth. If you can afford $25, $25 is what I thought I would charge for this one. I'm probably, outside of Kickstarter, only going to charge $20 for it. But yeah, if you want to bump it up, I'm not going to stop you. I'm no idiot. But let's talk about this map. This map is going to be very, very interesting. In the last room there, so you enter here, you walk in here, you're going to fight a couple of monsters in this first room and build up your bonus tokens. Go in here, you're going to open up this room and populate it with monsters. Then you're going to go into this room, and there's going to be one treasure chest. And the story here is that you are going to get this treasure, but that your master, the leader who's giving you these commands, we've got kind of a Charlie character. He's not present, but he's speaking to you through a crystal ball. And this Charlie character, and I don't know what his name will be, something that somebody backed will be. He's like, I know that this chest is undisturbed because it's sealed, and I've got the key. So I've sent you guys the key, so go get the treasure chest and don't forget the key. And of course, y'all forget the key. And so what do? Well, the treasure chest not bolted down. Let's just take the chest. And so it enables a pushing mechanic. And that pushing mechanic, if you push, it only costs 1 movement point, but if you pull, it costs 2. That's basically it. And the idea is you're going to have to push the treasure chest, Sokoban style, out of the map. That's what this map is it's playing with the push mechanic. And then there's also going to be monsters spawning around you to keep things interesting. So that's the idea behind that map. But you see what I'm talking about. Shifter says, bad settings. Bad settings in what? I'm curious what you're talking about. Let me just really quickly make sure. No, everything seems fine on my side. Shifter, can you tell me more what you mean by bad settings? I think that pushing mechanic is also going to allow for like block puzzles, put things on pressure plates to open doors and stuff like that. There is more than just walk in and beat bad guy in PrintAQuest. There is the possibility of doing some interesting things with it. This one, there are going to be 5 treasure chests in each of these rooms. Those 2 of them are going to be treasure chests. 3 of them are going to be mimics. And of course, when the mimic pops up, you got to fight them. So you got to walk in, open up chests. You might get lucky and find both of the chests in the first 2 rooms, or you may have to fight through a whole bunch of rooms. But I like the replayability of that one. So there is some possibility in PrintAQuest of having some interesting interactions with the game world. One interaction that I would like to do, and this will be a future expansion, but it is not going to be the first expansion because I need to make sure the rest of the rules are nailed down before we do this. But I want to have sea battles. I think it would be way cool. If your people were on the deck of a ship and you had to go grab the cannonballs and arm the cannons, and somebody has to be up there steering the ship and making sure, and then we got a mini map that has where all the enemies are, and so the dude is trying to steer it and everybody's trying to load the cannons and be ready to shoot the monsters, or not the monsters, the attack, well, maybe there'll be monsters, who knows, but the attacking forces that are attacking you. And it sounds really, really awesome. I love this idea. And this could be an entire tier by itself. First of all, it's going to mean that I need to make tiles for making ships with. So I need to have wooden planks and all that stuff. Basically, it's wood plank. Basically, it's just a bunch of wood planks. But then we can also have this be like multiple levels. Because maybe on the first level, you're fighting a Kraken or something like that. And the Kraken, it's fine. You just got to line up your shot, shoot it, and you're done. Second level, we have other pirates or ships that are trying to board your ship. And so if you don't shoot them down, now you have to fight on board your ship, on the the setting of your ship. And fight those monsters. And, there's going to be, we settled into port, we managed to buy an extra gun, so we'll be able to expand the ship as things go on. We'll be able to change the maps along the different quests. I don't know how many quests we can get out of this idea, but I like the idea and I definitely want to explore it. And I think that that'll be a lot of fun, but we are not doing that in this campaign. What I'm trying to illustrate though is I think that this idea has future expandability options, and I would like to explore those in the future after this campaign. So my eye is on more than just this one campaign. My eye is on the future. Why am I telling you that? Because I'm telling you that because I'm hoping that you all will be so inspired by this stupid idea that I have that you will share this campaign with others, that you will tell others about PrintAQuest and say, hey guys, this dude's insane, but he's got a cool idea and I really would like to see it happen. And if you present it to people who don't have 3D printers, just tell them, hey, he's promised that he's going to make it so that he will send out physical rewards, and I will add a tier for physical rewards. I expect that a box about this size full of minis and terrain. Now keep in mind, if you were buying this from a conventional manufacturer, if you were buying a box of this size, I have a big head, folks, and this is huge. If you were buying a box of this size from a conventional manufacturing, how much would you expect to pay for that? Okay, it's not going to be cheap, but I think that I can be cheaper than they would be for that. I'm guessing it's probably going to be around 150 bucks. And again, it depends on how much the partner charges for it. It's material, it's time, it's all these things. Or I might just do it myself if I can't find anybody that can do it for quality the way that I want. But yeah, it's probably going to be $100, $150 for that. I think that's not a bad deal, but I don't know how many people will go for it. Then again, y'all have surprised me already because, you know, the Kickstarter's already at $765, and I've just been palavering here for an hour. While I've been sitting here chit-chatting, y'all have made that happen. That is awesome. I have got a lot to do now. I need to make a post thanking people for this insanity and making this happen. So thank you guys. I will say that right now. I need to $9.99 in Temu. Yeah, that's fair. But I need to start working on some new characters, some new minis and stuff like that. A box from a conventional manufacturer would be 3 times bigger, but 95% air, with a piece of cardboard and a couple of grams of delicate injection molded plastic in it. It's true. It's true. Well, no, I'm thinking of like big box games like wasn't there a Call of Cthulhu board game that was just a box full of minis? They didn't even have terrain. They just had a box full of minis because their terrain was just a flat board, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I've even considered like a professional iteration of this idea would be a flat board that you somehow clipped into with your walls. And so you would just have a flat board that just looked like stone floors, and the walls would be the thing that you're building and snapping onto it, which would work. Yeah, that would work. Let's see. Jason says, I'm going to a gaming convention next week in Los Angeles. I'll definitely be talking about it there. I need to give you some pass-along cards. I don't even have pass-along cards. I need to make some pass-along cards and have you pass those on or something like that. In fact, Jason, message me outside of this. I assume you have a 3D printer. I wonder if we could make a giveaway for this. Message me. Sorry, I shouldn't commit to that on stream here, but I don't have anything but your username in the chat for this. So yeah, I mean, I may just make that available to everybody. Some minimum print that you guys could take good pictures of. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about what I would put in that minimum print. Aldi today, I'll definitely be talking about it at Aldi. You know, if this campaign hits 1,000 by the end of the first day, it's going to be because Nadav talked about it in Aldi. That's no question about it. No question about it. All right, I need to wrap this up here today, guys. I also want to mention here on stream to you guys that I am considering in the future doing a monthly Wednesday morning live stream. Now, during the campaign, I'm probably going to be doing live streams every Wednesday where I will be working on the pieces while we chat. I wasn't really tooled for that today, but I'm going to pull up Blender and we're going to start making the pieces that you guys will eventually see in the game live on live stream every Wednesday morning during this campaign. Now, this campaign is only going to run for 4 weeks, so that'll be 4 of them. Then after that, I'm thinking like monthly, just sit down and have a monthly live stream. And whether I'm working on this or working on Chiba Malls or working on some other project, you guys can be there as we chit-chat on Wednesday morning. It's a weird time for doing streams, but it's also a time that isn't super crowded. There's not a lot of people vying for this space. And heck, if this ends up, becoming more than just a side gig, I could start the stream on Wednesday morning and we could go all day long. I don't know about that, but that's the dream, right? The dream is that this campaign is going to do so well, that I will make so much money that I will be able to quit my day job, which I love. I love my day job, but I just can't stream from my day job. And just work on toys all day, every day with you guys. I would love to do that. But we'll see. Like a collaboration mini. Yeah. Got me targeted to what Persephone Death Reborn gathered. I will have to Google those and see what that is because I do not know. Love to see you work in Blender. Organic modeling is my nemesis, lol. I've learned some things about it recently. In fact, I've finally broken open the multi-resolution modifier. I used to think it was garbage, but turns out it's actually really good for especially this sort of thing. So I'll be showing you that in the future. Jason says, I think a free goblin would be a good promo. Everybody likes more monsters. Not a bad idea. I wonder, because part of me also wants to put a little bit of terrain in there, but I don't want to necessarily just make a box for your goblin. I think it would be fun, but I don't want it to be too complex. But maybe just like it's a monster closet. Oh, I like the idea of a monster closet. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play with this today and make my first post on this campaign. Before we go, let's check in with it. $765. We didn't hit 1,000 by the end of the live stream. That would have been bonkers, guys. This is more than I expected, and it is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, everybody who backed. Thank you to everybody who jumped in on this. And thank you to everybody who joined me here today. And a special thank you to the 3 backers who are going to definitely get their name in the rule book. I'm looking forward to changing that out. If sorry, I'm sidetracking myself, and I don't care. I'm going to sidetrack myself because I've got a little bit of, you guys busy? I'm not super busy. Let's jump into this real fast. I want to show you something. So I am, like I say, I'm writing up, this is not the way. All right. So I'm currently writing up the rules. And in the rules and in the quest book, and the quest book has got like a lot of little story elements in it. But in the quest book, I occasionally have something where I don't know what name I'm going to call it. For instance, what are we going to call the team of heroes? I don't know. So I have inserted the word wiener in there. The main character, the hero, or not the main character, our Charlie-like character who's giving instruction to our heroes, I've called him Wiener. Elsewhere in here, when it's like, let's see, not here, not this one maybe, but this one, the ancient treasure of weenie. And the reason why I'm using the word weenie in here is because, oh my goodness. Oh, that's right, Dreams Void. It's fine. he says, I've missed a stream. No, it's fine. It's okay. Because you can go back and watch it. And it's recorded. The reason why I'm using weenie, not wiener. Am I using weenie or wiener? It better be weenie. Anyways, the reason why I'm using weenie is because, have you guys heard of MacGuffin? Okay, a MacGuffin is a plot device that drives the story forward but is ultimately unimportant to the plot itself. Okay, basically anything that could be easily swapped out for something else because it doesn't really matter. It's just a thing that everybody wants. A famous example is the Maltese Falcon. In the movie, the Maltese Falcon based on the play, the Maltese Falcon based on the book, the Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon is the thing that everybody's looking for, but it might as well be a bag of gold. It might as well be a microfiche. It doesn't matter what it is. It's that everybody wants it. Well, the funny thing is, there was a, where was the first one? I'm looking this up because I want to, there we go. Pearl White was this black and white actress who, her movies are fantastic. She's got these movies about, I can't remember the name of the movies. Actually, I think they were called Pearl White. I think they were called, No, she had, there we go, The Perils of Pauline. That's what it is. And she was a part of these old, a bunch of old spy movies where the spies were like running around and trying to do things, and she was the maid in distress who sometimes had the thing that they were trying to get, and was constantly being accosted and stuff like that. She called that a weenie. She coined the term. Because she's like, okay, what's the weenie this time? A roll of film, rare coin, expensive diamond. What's the weenie this time? She recognized that these items were interchangeable, so she just called them weenies. And I love the name weenie for something that doesn't really matter and could just as well be swapped out. So in the storybook, I've put weenie here. So anytime I have something that I want to replace, I could just do a search and replace for weenie, and I can put your name in its place. Yes, you can be a weenie for the $100 tier. If you want to be a weenie, jump onto the You're the Boss tier. It's one of those things that I think I put in there just to amuse me, but that's the sign of a good dad joke. That's a sign of a good dad. So there we go. I hope that you guys will consider being a weenie. Also, if you stop telling me I can't back. Of course I can't back my own project, you doofus. If I could, I'd have hit my backing goals already. If you just back at the $15 level, or if you up your pledge a little bit more just because you want to, it's fine. And I don't have enough weenies to fill out the book, I might steal your name for a weenie. But these guys, You're the Boss, guaranteed weenies. Guaranteed to get their name in the rule book. But there we go. Oh dear. I turned off the top black bar. Watch this, guys. Very top of the screen. Here we go. Bloop. I do that so that you guys can't see what other tabs I have available. And this should be closed too. Why is my... There we go. Look at me. This is professionalism, guys. I'd forget to close my bookmark bar. You guys see the shame of my bookmark bar. There's no shame in my bookmark bar. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys helping this to be already a major, major success. Like I said before, spread the word. Let people know about it, because it is through you and through word of mouth and your association with people who know you and trust you that this will be as successful as it can possibly be. I really love this idea. Nolan Create says, we don't tab shame. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really believe in this. I hope that it will be awesome. I think that it will be awesome. But I hope that you guys will consider backing, and I want to thank you very much for watching. And you know what? Like I do with my other videos, I'm going to remind you that you are a child of a loving Heavenly Father. That's important. It's important for everybody to know that. And so you're special to me, and you're special to Him. But take care of yourself, and find somebody else to take care of, because really that's what life is all about. We all need each other. All right. See you guys next time.